Hey everyone, welcome to the Leadmore podcast. Of course, the show where we sit down with leaders of today to help inspire and create more leaders for tomorrow, because I believe the world needs more leaders. And I'm your host, John T. Meyer. We're going to get right into this episode. It's a different episode today. We're trying another one of these framework episodes. We got great feedback 2 weeks ago on that episode, so thank you for listening and for sharing your thoughts. But also, it's kind of a big week for me. So I'm recording this on Wednesday, August 18th, so just a day before it's going to come out, because tomorrow morning early at 6 a.m., I'm getting on a flight, flying to Salt Lake City, driving an Uber to Huntsville, which is at the Snow Basin Resort. That's a ski lodge, ski mountain in Utah, where I will proceed to, starting Friday morning, over the next 36 hours, summit a ski mountain, go up the ski mountain, hike it, take the gondola down, go up, hike it, take the gondola down 13 times. Actually, I just texted a buddy of mine. I thought it was 12 times until today. I was finally reading through the notes and doing the prep work and thinking through my nutrition and my hydration, and realized it was 13 times and not 12. So glad I know now instead of later. But I think with my plan, it doesn't faze me. We're ready. And so let me tell you a little bit about this. This is an event called 29029 Everesting. And what that means, kind of a long name, but 29,029 feet, which is the equivalent to the vertical feet, to the height of Mount Everest. So it's like summiting Mount Everest minus, the hundreds of thousands of dollars, the 8 weeks, and the chance of dying, right? So it's in Utah in the summer, and I'm confident that I will not be worried about losing my life. So, but still a very challenging exercise and activity, and something that's taken me all of summer to prep, to train, to prepare. I've done a marathon before, but this is different. This is, it's vertical, it's hiking, it's not running, but it's hiking. You have plenty of time, but you have to be consistent, and there's a lot of strategy. Do you sleep? Do you not sleep? Do you go fast? Do you rest? Again, the hydration, the nutrition, all these things going into it. And so that's what I'm doing this week. And it so happens to be, we start on Friday, we'll finish on Saturday, August 21st, which so happens to be my 36th birthday. So it was just a perfect time, perfect event, perfect sort of birthday present to myself. I love experiences over things. And I'm going to try to do something really hard and get uncomfortable for my birthday. So what I want to talk to, though, today in the concept of leadership is this idea of setting a goal and deciding what is your Everest. What's the Everest you're going to tackle as a leader, right? We've had 60 plus episodes of this show, and one thing very consistent amongst the leaders we've talked to is they're very highly motivated, they're ambitious, they're dedicated, and they're very determined to do what they say they will do and to accomplish, what's in their brain or in their vision, right? I think about, let's talk about, we had Paul Tenhaken. We talked about when he decided to sell his business, and of course, sell the business and exit. He knew he was going to run for mayor. That was his goal. He sold 100% of his equity shares and said, I'm going to go, become mayor of Sioux Falls. He set out this goal. He built the people around him, and he accomplished it, right? Great example. Another one I think about is Benya Krause. Benya from rural Minnesota started a nonprofit. She said, I want to change my hometown of Waseca, Minnesota, make it cool again, make it a place where young people want to come. And then, of course, they've built the nonprofit to help people in other communities, hundreds of other communities and rural communities across the country do that same thing. So just so many examples on this show of people setting these big, hairy, audacious goals and going to accomplishing them. Those are just two that jumped into my head. And so I want to ask you, this is both a framework and we're going to have sort of a challenge at the end. So let's first do the framework. Here's how I think of setting a big goal. So we're going to draw a diamond. I'll even put a little visual graphic here in this that you can get in the show notes. But a diamond, like a mountain, right? A triangle. At the bottom is, what's the goal? You have to define the goal. What are you going to accomplish? And the things I recommend here is, this is the first step, right? Just saying it out loud is the first step. And arguably, the first step is the hardest step. So taking that step, committing to it, saying it out loud, and even who's going to hold you accountable? Who else knows? Is your spouse, your friends, family member, colleague, son or daughter, whatever it might be, have a peer group to hold you accountable. In this case of 29029, I've been sort of waffling on this event for a while. I kind of had it in my shopping cart. I didn't do it. I had a ton of excuses. It's expensive. I have to be gone for 4 days. It takes a lot of time and training. It's probably going to be hard. Do I want to do it? And my friend Dan, shout out Dan, he stole my phone from me one day when we were talking about it, and he signed me up. He just signed me up because he knew I wanted to do it. He knew I'd been thinking about it, doing it. I just needed to take the first step, and he literally did that for me. So thanks, Dan. So that's the first step. What is the goal? The second step is, what are your gears? And when I say gears, what I mean by that is, what are the things that you're going to do, the habits, the tactics that are going to make this goal possible, right? So best resource I can give you is go grab the book Atomic Habits. It's one of my favorite books. If I were being interviewed on the Leadmore podcast, that would be my answer to what's the book you recommend most. That book changed my life. I also made employees at Lemonly read it. But really, it's not about go run a marathon. It's about become the person who is a runner, right? Adapt the personality and become a runner and do daily runs, or run 5 times a week, or run 3 miles every day, or whatever it might be. The gears, the habits that are going to put this goal into motion and get you to the top of your Everest, right? So you set the goal, you install the gears, you build the gears. And then the third step is the boots. And what I really mean by the boots is, like, what are you going to do when this gets hard? How are you going to put your boots back on, get back on your feet, and keep climbing? When you're toward the top, those steps at the end are the hardest steps, especially literally in this metaphor, when oxygen is less and you're at high altitudes and the incline is steep. Who's going to be there, or how are you going to put your boots back on? And I suggest you even build that in the beginning too, right? Know why you're doing it. Do you have an inspiration source? I'm sort of doing this as a challenge. When I hit this birthday, I want to show my little girls that we can do big things, that, dad worked hard for something and accomplished this, and that they can do the same thing if they have their own dreams and their own Everest to tackle. Even it serves this really nice sort of kind of life transition point that I'm in to chase something that's this physical challenge. And so know why you're doing it, so that when it gets tough, which it will, you know how to put your boots back on, right? So it's the sticky note in the pocket. It's the inspiration board back home, whatever it might be. Know what you need to get your boots back on. And then lastly, the easy part, right? The easy part, the peak. Then you're going to hit the peak of your Everest. You are going to bask in your glory. You are going to accomplish what you set out to do. And the best thing, my favorite thing about great leaders, as we learned on this show, and this is sometimes a little depressing too, but in the spirit of better every day, we immediately start setting the next peak, and we look above and beyond, and we look out to find the next Everest. And it doesn't have to be bigger or faster or stronger. It could be different. It could be learning a new hobby. It could be starting a family. It could be starting a business. It could be rekindling a relationship with a friend or family member, whatever it may be. You've reached the peak and you're on to the next peak. And so, to recap, you set the goal, have your accountability group, commit to it out loud, tweet it, Facebook it, put it on your annual goal list, whatever it might be. We initially did this exercise in the Leadmore community back in December as we were starting to think about 2021 and planning for the year, right? Set the gears. Read Atomic Habits if you need to. What are your gears to build the habits to make this Everest climb easier? What are your boots? Who's going to help you put your boots back on? What are you doing this for, and why when times get tough? And then you hit your peak. And so what I want to challenge you, listeners of the Leadmore podcast, here on August 18th, you'll be listening to this on the 19th or beyond when we publish this tomorrow. We have roughly 4 months left in 2021. 2021 by no means has been an easy year. 2020 was, the world changed and turned upside down, and 2021 still feels a little sideways. in terms of where the world is in so many ways, but hopefully you're starting to get your sea legs under you, and hopefully you're resilient enough, which is why you're setting your Everest here, to overcome all those obstacles anyway. Only you can control the things you can control. A global pandemic, a political system, weather. You can't control those things, but you can control what you can control. And I want you to commit to your Everest here. 4 months left, a third of the year, September, October, November, December. Let's go do something great. And so as you listen to today's episode, I would love to hear from you. What is your Everest from now until December 31st, 2021? Last year, that Everest for me was what became selling Lemonly. That was the goal. We did it on December 31st, 2020. We took every day in the year that we needed. And then this year it is to go and hike 29,029. And so hopefully by the time you listen to this, I'm either hiking or maybe even finished. If you want to follow the journey, find me on Instagram.com/John T. Meyer. I'll do a live story documenting the 13 summits over the 36 hours. But also I want to hear from you. So if you listen to this, tweet me at John T. Meyer or send me an email, john@lemonly.com. I want to hear what your Everest is. And if you need me to be one of those people to hold you accountable, I will gladly do so. Happy to do that. So that is it. I will leave you with this thought. What is your Everest? And together, let's do something great. Thanks, everyone. That was this week's episode of the Leadmore podcast. Again, I'm your host, John T. Meyer. Just a quick reminder that we drop new episodes of the Leadmore podcast every single Thursday. You can find them wherever you listen, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. Subscribe, follow, leave us a review. Thanks for listening. Take care and be well.